Tonight, a call to arms from the Commander-in-Chief for US President's unprecedented show of force as his country burns around him. Across America, rioters rage on, their fire and fury showing no signs of easing as businesses and livelihoods are left in ruins. Arrest anger on home soil, a police officer under review over this confronting altercation with an Indigenous teenager. The little face of fatal flaws. A court exposes the child safety shortcomings that failed Mason Jet Li. And the government sorry for COVID claims that sent fear through a Queensland town, but it's standing firm on the response that followed.
This is 10 News First Queensland with Georgina Lewis.
Good evening. The might of the military. That's the threat tonight from Donald Trump against his own citizens. Police today used brute force to clear a path for the president before more National Guard troops were deployed around the country. Washington is now the epicentre of this crisis that's still raging from coast to coast, engulfing city after city.
The mighty US capital is in chaos. A city that was forged in a revolution is now gripped with frustration, fear and fury. And it's all happening so close to the White House, President Trump could hear the screams and smell the tear gas.
My fellow Americans, my first and highest duty as president is to defend our great country and the American people.
He finally emerged from his bunker, not to calm the masses, but to crush them.
Our nation has been gripped by professional anarchists, violent mobs, arsonists, looters, criminals, rioters, Antifa, and others. These are acts of domestic terror. The destruction of innocent life and the spilling of innocent blood is an offense to humanity and a crime against God.
For many here, it felt like a declaration of war on his own citizens, made real when he ordered the military onto the streets.
I am mobilizing all available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting, to end the destruction and arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights.
That, as terrifying as it might sound to many Australians, is the right to bear arms.
There is not enough words that he can spit out of his stupid mouth that will make this okay.
And do you think that's going to calm things?
Nah, he's just going to get everybody more riled up. We already got a reason. He's just giving us another one, to be honest.
So he imposed a dinner-time curfew, giving these protesters just minutes to get indoors or else.
As we speak, I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers to stop the rioting, looting, vandalism, assaults, and the wanton destruction of property.
So now a second group of several thousand protesters have begun marching in on this point. They've been yelling, "No peace, no justice. Hands up, don't shoot."
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
The president then walked across the road, surrounded by Secret Service agents, to St John's Church that's been damaged by the rioters.
We have a great country. That's my thoughts.
I just saw Donald Trump literally walk 200 metres that way. There were reporters running as he walked towards the front of the White House, just hundreds of metres from protesters.
He doesn't care. Honest, he doesn't care. That's all I gotta say.
You're obviously very emotional.
Yes, because everything that's going on in this country, to us black people, is not fair.
We have the greatest country in the world. Thank you very much, everybody.
It's worth noting, just a short walk from here in 1963, Martin Luther King delivered the most famous civil rights speech of all.
I have a dream.
And it's never resonated more than right now.
We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality.
Almost 60 years later, this nightmare is only getting worse by the day.
Our country always wins.
So tonight, the land of the free is in part under military curfew, and the home of the brave has a president under siege in the White House.
Eamon is in Washington, D.C. for us tonight. Eamon, what's the situation there now?
Well, Georgie, it's fairly quiet outside the White House, as you can see. We haven't seen the widespread looting that we've seen over the past few nights, but I wanted to paint you a picture of America right now. So tonight over DC, we've been seeing Black Hawk helicopters flying low over protesters as a show of force, and this is a tactic that's been used in the Middle East against insurgents, and not one that you would think would happen here. Also, right here in this very spot, the president had peaceful protesters gassed. Also, he could walk outside the White House and have a photo opportunity outside this church. And now protesters are living with the threat that the military, the very institution that's supposed to protect them, could be used against them.
Thank you, Eamon, in Washington, D.C. Violence and chaos flared for a seventh straight night in dozens of major American cities. Thousands of protesters defied a curfew in New York, where high-end stores were looted. While in Minneapolis, the brother of George Floyd visited the place where all this began.
Terrence Floyd brought flowers and prayers to the spot his brother's life was taken. His loss still raw and his anger obvious.
What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all doing nothing, because that's not going to bring my brother back at all.
With cities across the US burned and fire still raging in the hearts of many, he spoke directly to the rioters.
Y'all protest, y'all destroy stuff, and if they don't move, you know why they don't move? Because it's not their stuff, it's our stuff.
But his words fell on deaf ears in New York. Despite a curfew, shops and department stores were looted for another night. This is one of the protests in Los Angeles today, smack bang in the middle of Hollywood. As you can see, hundreds of people have turned out for this one. Curfew is in about 45 minutes' time, but these people want to see changes, and they want to see them quickly. Anger raw in a city that struggled with its own race issues.
Who do we call when we're sitting at home, minding our business, and we get shot?
Frustration with a seemingly never-changing environment on show.
If we have to riot, then we will riot, because we will make changes. We are tired.
Their request?
Simple. Acknowledgement, equality. It's a simple request. Treat us like you guys treat everybody else.
Amid the anger and the violence, a determination to make things better. This Los Angeles commander taking a knee in solidarity.
We stand together.
An act seen across the country.
I don't want us to fear for our lives every time we just walk out the door.
Under the gaze of the National Guard, Santa Monica locals took up brushes and brooms to clean up what was made with bricks and flames.
Me and my friend just came and we painted, these are like our fifth wall that we painted around the city.
We're here today to be a part of the solution.
Something this divided nation desperately needs.
And Duncan joins us from Hollywood Boulevard. Duncan, it's not the tourist-friendly place we're used to seeing.
Yes, good evening, Georgie. It certainly isn't. We've got the National Guard out in force here behind me. We've also got the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's about as quiet as you'll ever see. We've got helicopters flying overhead. It appears that these curfews are just getting earlier and earlier every single day. It was 1:30 p.m. in Santa Monica here this afternoon, 5 p.m. in West Hollywood, and then 6 p.m. all across LA County. We did see and experience firsthand some businesses being looted in the northern neighbourhood of Van Nuys, and obviously there were some arrests being made there, but these protests are about to enter into an 8th day, Georgie, and at the moment it appears there's no end in sight.
Thank you, Duncan, in Los Angeles. As racial tensions rise across the globe, here at home, a New South Wales police officer has been placed on restricted duties. A review has been ordered into his arrest of an Aboriginal teen in Sydney. Leah Harris has the details.
The officers can be seen talking to a group of teenage boys in a park here in inner Sydney before one of the boys threatens to crack an officer's jaw while he's standing quite a few metres away. The officer then reacts by walking over to the boy who has his arms crossed and grabbing him before kicking his legs out from under him, causing him to fall face first into the bricks. The 17-year-old boy was arrested and taken to Surrey Hills Police Station before being taken to hospital for his injuries. His family says he suffered broken teeth and cuts and bruises all over his body. It wasn't until this video of the arrest emerged on social media today that police announced an investigation into the arrest.
I'm concerned that people will use this footage and turn it into something that's not. We're not the United States of America. As I said, we've got great relationships with our local community. We'll continue to work with our local community as we move through this and get to the bottom of the circumstances around it, okay?
When I actually saw it today, I was actually not shocked because, again, this is the experiences that our community members experience every day of their lives.
That officer has been put on restricted duties while the investigation is ongoing, and the boy has not yet been charged with any crime. And there are calls tonight for an independent investigation into the circumstances of the arrest.
A coroner has handed down her findings into the prolonged and painful death of Caboolture toddler Mason Jet Lee. John Paul Gonzo joins us now from the Magistrates Court. JP, the failings of child safety have been laid bare.
Georgie, the coroner found the department failed dismally in its duty to protect Mason Jet Lee from harm, and it overlooked serious mistreatment. The one-year-old died in June 2016 after being punched in the stomach by his stepfather, William O'Sullivan. Today it was revealed that the department was supposed to see him 12 times between March and June of that year, but they only visited Mason once. On the day before his death, a neighbour raised concerns with a child safety officer that O'Sullivan was holding Mason hostage in the home. That child safety officer did nothing and instead went home. An autopsy later revealed Mason suffered significant, horrific injuries. The coroner found today that if anyone from the department had visited Mason in the weeks before his death, he could have been saved.
Queenslanders need to know that Mason Jet Lee did not die in vain. 12 staff members were subject to Ethical Standards Unit review. 9 of those people were reprimanded and 3 left of their own accord.
Georgie, we'll have more details on the findings and the coroner's recommendations for change later in the bulletin.
Thank you, John Paul. The Queensland Government has apologised to Nathan Turner's partner and family after the coroner found the Blackwater miner did not have coronavirus when he died. But there was no backing away from the response that sent the town into lockdown.
Nathan Turner was named the country's youngest COVID victim, but just a week on, sorry from the Deputy Premier.
I would like to personally apologise to his partner and his family for any distress that our actions in responding rapidly have caused them.
That response triggered after the 30-year-old initially tested positive following his death. He'd had flu-like symptoms for several weeks. An urgent second test then came back invalid. But overnight, the coroner ruled there was no sign of the virus.
I am confident about the actions that were taken on that night to protect the community of Blackwater.
More than 600 residents were tested, close contacts ordered into quarantine, including Mr Turner's partner Simone. The bakery where she worked forced to shut for cleaning.
For us to have that relief and to breathe easy, for Simone to be able to finally have the support she needs.
If we don't act and it ends up being worse, then we would be negligent for not acting.
It fuelled speculation Mr Turner's death was linked to a Rockhampton nurse at an aged care centre. She's now demanding an apology.
Our member has had a 2-week public trial by media.
Queensland Health maintains the Rockhampton nurse changed her story several times. Today, the opposition accusing the government of using the whole situation for political gain.
The Blackwater case was used as a justification by the Premier to keep our borders closed.
I would prefer to be criticised for being too transparent, for being too honest.
As a close-knit town remembers one of their own.
The real thing that's happened here is that a life has been lost.
Claire Barnes for 10 News First.
Coming up, exclusive and explosive revelations out of the nation's capital about a secret COVID committee. Also, the tourism drive that just got a little tougher to get into gear thanks to pumped up petrol prices. Plus later, the snail trail that's turning a marine menace into a medical marvel. And in sport, can star racehorse trekking become the first back-to-back winner of the Stradbroke Handicap in a decade?
Over the years, we have had some pretty amazing desserts. None of them have been quite as unusual as the dessert that you're about to taste.
The MasterChef kitchen has never seen a dessert quite like this.
The main ingredient is actually...
What's inside?
What?
Will blow your mind.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Pretty amazing, huh?
The strangest ever dessert challenge, tonight on 10.
At Macca's, cleanliness is our priority, ensuring we keep our team and the community safe. You can still get your favourites and essential items contact-free. Thanks to all our teams across Australia, we'll be here.
If I could give them 1 million stars, I would.
Another real review from a happy Aussie broadband customer. With thousands of 5-star reviews, an award-winning NBN network and all Australian support, we're shooting for the stars. Aussie Broadband. Can't beat feedback.
Far North Queensland is bracing itself for more wet weather after days of heavy rain.
Hi. They've had 140 millimetres in the last 24 hours.
After Townsville flooded, Barbara and the team were some of the first on the ground, lodging claims and getting people's lives back on track. That's the Suncorp spirit.
When cold and flu symptoms strike, a kiss can make them feel better. But for effective relief through the night, there's Nurofen for children. Starts to reduce fever from 15 minutes and lasts for up to 8 hours. Nurofen for children.
Get back to the game you love with a Drummond Golf sale. Get 10 to 20% off push buggies and bags, irons and iron sets. A minimum 20% off gloves and apparel. And a minimum 10% off packages. Now on at Drummond Golf.
If you're experiencing abuse or domestic violence, contact 1-800-RESPECT for free, confidential advice and counselling, online and by phone 24/7. There's no place for abuse or domestic violence. Help is here. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
I was on the servo and I saw in the CCTV screen this balding bloke with the same jacket as me. But when I turned around, there was nobody there. And that was it.
Reached your turning point? The doctors at Ashley and Martin could help regrow your hair.
If you're married to someone like this, there's only one thing to do.
Emily Butler, author of soon-to-be bestseller, My Husband.
Wow, that's definitely Greg.
It's got to be this one.
You're right. Print it.
How to Stay Married, tonight.
Well, good afternoon. A nice run on the roads this Harvey. A little bit busy, though, as you make your way out of the city on the Riverside Expressway and the Captain Cook Bridge. The run northbound on the Gateway, just a little bit slow coming up through Brackenridge up towards the Pine River Bridge. This is the run on the Bruce Highway heading up towards Dolly's Rocks Road and up through Marumba Downs. A little bit slow. Back on Gympie Road, a patchy run through Kedron, up through Chermside as well, and also through Castle Lane towards Bald Hills. As you can see there, it's not too bad. The run on the Western Freeway outbound, a little bit slow at Fig Tree Pocket. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Aussie Home Loans and Georgie. Another check of the roads coming up later in the bulletin.
We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Dave. We can reveal exclusively tonight the federal government is refusing to answer questions about a secretive COVID-19 committee handpicked by Scott Morrison. And the man chairing it is earning more than the PM himself. Our political editor, Peter Van Onselen, is breaking the story.
You may not have heard of Nev Power, but the former mining executive is heading up Scott Morrison's secret COVID Coordination Committee.
So with that, I'm going to hand you over to Nev.
Shielded from public view by cabinet confidentiality.
There needs to be a degree of openness and transparency.
Mr Power is earning more than the PM.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister.
Who himself is the third highest paid world leader. The chair's payments are going into a personal trust to the tune of nearly $400,000 for just 6 months' work. including $73,000 to cover the cost of his personal assistant.
There needs to be a process to make sure that we're getting value for money.
Little is known about how the committee functions, and questions on notice asked by Senator Rex Patrick have been ignored for over 6 weeks, even though they are supposed to be answered within 30 days. 10 News First can reveal that the secretive committee of 6 are earning nearly $1 million between them, some members working as little as 1 day a week.
It's really important to make sure that we can see that they've fully explored the issues.
The only committee member to refuse taxpayer cheques is former Telstra CEO David Thodey. A Senate hearing revealed the PM decided who joined the committee, with no independent selection process.
But we do need to be careful about things like conflicts of interest.
10 News First understands that on Thursday, the Senate committee charged with looking into the government's response to the COVID crisis is going to take a closer look at this secret committee.
I don't know, because it's secret, whether the work that they're doing will ultimately lead to them being beneficiaries later down track.
Peter Van Onselen for 10 News First.
Just as travel restrictions are lifted and we're encouraged to go on driving holidays across the state, petrol prices have suddenly soared. The message for motorists: fill up now.
The Premier's message yesterday was simple: hit the road, explore all that Queensland has to offer as pandemic restrictions ease. Today, though, motoring bodies warned those preparing for a road trip should get in fast as petrol prices begin to surge.
That's disappointing when we're telling everyone to fill up their tanks and put their families in the car and go for a school holiday. And let's hope it comes down a bit in time for the school holidays.
Some outlets were quick out of the gate today, charging over $1.30, while many boards displayed prices as low as $1. The low end is unlikely to last.
Don't get ripped off. Fill up now. Keep an eye out for that fuel being charged around $1 a litre. There is still some available in the southeast.
A report by comparethemarket.com.au found that pre-pandemic we paid an average of around $1.40, almost 30 cents a litre less in the quarter to June, when we couldn't take advantage of it.
We've seen decade low prices recently, but these prices are going to start to tick up as we head into the weekend.
But a rebound in global oil prices started in April. As that trickles through and demand increases again, we will see a jump. Experts say it's more an inconvenient coincidence than it is suspicious.
It's not gouging this time around, but we'll be keeping a close eye on the service stations out there right around the state. We don't want the easing of restrictions to mean that service stations begin taking advantage of motorists.
Chris Campy for 10 News First.
The federal government will invest another $66 million to help create a vaccine to tackle COVID-19. The money will fund multiple research projects across the country as we continue the race to beat the virus.
Our laboratories have never been busier. Across the world, 6.2 million people have been diagnosed with COVID-19 and more than 370,000 have died. And Australia is well placed to find the solution.
Australia hasn't just been at the global forefront in containment and flattening the curve, but we are also blessed with leading researchers and institutions.
The federal government is giving another $66 million to our researchers who are trying to find treatments and ultimately a vaccine.
I think of the way we treat COVID-19 as the way we have tackled cancer over the last 40 years. We know that one approach isn't going to work.
The Walter and Eliza Hall Institute is already using health workers to test whether the anti-malaria drug hydroxychloroquine could guard them from COVID-19. It's also looking into the specific proteins that make up the virus, which have been made clearer by the Australian synchrotron.
This has given us wonderful insight exactly what the protein looks like and what kind of nooks and crannies it has and where we have to direct our drugs against.
Australia is flattening the coronavirus curve and our rigorous testing is a big part of that. Across the country, more than 1.5 million tests have been done, 1/3 of those in Victoria alone.
Our testing regime is one of the fundamental things which has safeguarded and protected Australians.
Our next job is to kill the virus. Candice Wyatt for 10 News First.
Well, time for an early weather check. Josh, a beautiful sunrise this morning.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie. We've seen some absolute crackers in recent times, and this morning was no different. This is the view from Eagle Farm Racecourse as the horses rose up and out of bed, of course, some of which preparing for the Stradbroke Handicap, which is run this Saturday, the time-honoured event, one of Queensland's biggest races of the year. Unfortunately, there won't be any crowds there at the farm this Saturday, but a beautiful sunrise this morning nonetheless. Of course, Jono Williams will have the latest on the Stratty coming up in sport. Moving into the big picture today, though, the clear skies, all due to this large area of high pressure moving in over central parts of Australia. There was that cool change that pushed through southeast Queensland, dropping those temperatures this morning. A little bit on the cooler side for Ipswich, hovering down around about that 10-degree mark. 20 through the afternoon, we hit 21 on the Golden Sunshine Coast, 21 in the city and also at Logan. But the temperatures are set to drop tomorrow. All the details, 5 to 6.
We'll see you then. Thanks, Josh. Ahead, a legal victory for Australia's cattle producers, 9 years in the making. Also, a world united for a deeply divided America. And a new lease on life across Europe after months in lockdown.
Your home means more than ever. And so does having the right home loan. To understand your options, go straight to Aussie. We'll help ensure you have the right loan for right now.
It's the strangest dessert ever seen in the MasterChef kitchen.
The main ingredient is actually...
What's inside will blow your mind.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The strangest ever dessert challenge on 10.
It continues 7:30 tonight.
There you go, Swagger.
Steve?
Domino's is bringing New York to your living room with the new Tastier New Yorker range. Now with even more authentic ingredients, like huge pepperoni on a giant-sized New York pizza. Try one from just $19.95 delivered from Domino's.
The stylish Haval H2, a globally engineered, European-designed and feature-packed SUV. From just $22,990 drive away. Haval H2 Auto. New car thinking.
Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer. Receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card when you sign up to a new service on the Optus $65 per month SIM-only plan for 24 months with 80 gigabytes of data for use in Oz. That's right. Sign up to a new service on the $65 per month 24-month Optus SIM-only plan and you'll receive a $700 Harvey Norman gift card. Offer ends June 30. New services only, not available with other offers. Harvey Norman, your premium Optus dealer.
Go! The Amazon mid-year sale is live now. Time to get great deals on electronics, fashion, homewares and more. Shop amazon.com.au. Easy as.
Hi, mate.
Hey, Dad.
How's the new place?
Yeah, it's really good.
What have you been up to?
Not much. No, I miss you guys. Can you believe it? I actually miss your cooking too.
I don't miss a thing. I got the new Woolies Rewards app.
Now you'll never miss an offer with everything in one place. Track your points, view your Woolworths e-receipts, and you can access your personalised offers so you save even more.
I do miss you, mate.
It's the brand new way to get your Woolies worth.
That's why I pick Woolies.
Don't miss a moment. New by Solven Duo Syrup is a 2-in-1 formula traditionally used to soothe an irritated throat and relieve an associated dry cough. By Solven Duo, moments uninterrupted. On special this week at Coles.
You're watching 10 News First. The cattle industry has won a landmark case after the federal court ruled a government ban on live exports in 2011 was invalid. The action could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and for one woman at the heart of this battle, today's win was extra bittersweet.
From their cattle station in the top end, Emily Brett's family spearheaded the industry's beef with the Commonwealth in the federal court, fighting on even after her husband Dougal died in a chopper crash.
I can hear him saying to me, "Don't give up, don't give up, you've got this, keep going."
And today they won.
We suffered immense financial hardship because of this. So much stress. It was overwhelming at times.
It's been 9 years since the then Labor government banned live cattle exports to Indonesia after shocking animal cruelty was exposed.
That incident could have been and should have been addressed in isolation without the reckless banning of an industry and the devastation of an industry.
After 18 months deliberating, Justice Stephen Reris ruled the 6-month ban was reckless and invalid.
Such a total prohibition was capricious and unreasonable and made the ban order invalid.
He was scathing of the then Agriculture Minister Joe Ludwig.
Made the ban order shutting his eyes to the risk that it might be invalid and to the damage that was calculated to cause.
This ruling opens the door to the industry seeking hundreds of millions of dollars in compensation. The court found more than 412,000 cattle could have been exported properly if instead of a ban order, the minister had put in place an order with an exceptions power.
Today righted a wrong.
Emily is proud her children saw her fight. If only their dad was here too.
All I want in this moment is to share this day with him.
Ali Donaldson for 10 News First.
Returning to America's mass riots and the death of George Floyd has officially been declared a homicide. A post-mortem examination has revealed he suffered cardiac arrest whilst being arrested in Minneapolis. The report by the medical examiner officially listed the excessive force used by police as his cause of death. A private examination was also carried out by the Floyd family, which indicated he died from a lack of oxygen due to a compression on his neck. Across Europe, there have been more demonstrations in solidarity with those in America. Protesters in Paris knelt in silence outside the US Embassy, while in Amsterdam, thousands chanted, "I can't breathe," some of George Floyd's final words as he was being choked by police.
Because it's one person is died, but everybody is feeling the pain. All over the world have watching this, what's happened with the black woman.
Around 5,000 people also marched through Dublin in support of Black Lives Matter. For the first time in 30 years, police in Hong Kong have banned a vigil for the victims of the Tiananmen Square massacre. Authorities claim the ruling is needed to enforce social distancing and prevent the spread of coronavirus. But it comes less than a week after the Chinese Communist Party announced new national security laws for the former British colony. More than 100,000 people attended the June 4th vigil last year. The beginning of June has marked a new chapter in Europe's coronavirus crisis. 2 million vulnerable Brits have been allowed to leave their homes for the first time in months, while several countries recorded their lowest death toll since March.
The tide is turning in Spain. Not one person lost their life to COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. That hasn't happened since March. The nation's death toll is 27,000. After one of the world's strictest lockdowns, Spaniards are soaking up the sun.
We're enjoying it again and we can see each other again at the office.
Across Europe, it finally feels like a new chapter. In Italy, once the globe's worst impacted nation, the Colosseum reopened to visitors overnight. Greece announced it's back to business for hotels, and Istanbul's historic Grand Bazaar reopened too.
It's weird. It's very exciting actually.
Right across Europe, there's optimism that the worst is over as people find new ways to do normal, including watching a game of football.
This is nice, so we can come here and support the team.
In the UK, 2 million of the most vulnerable people who were ordered to stay inside and not leave the house are now allowed out for the first time in more than 2 months. Schools are returning in Britain too, relief for parents and students alike.
Because you're all cooped up together, it's just really hard to stay away and from each other and then staying in the same house.
Their newfound freedoms all the more special, with no guarantees a second wave of coronavirus won't force them back home again. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First London.
Well, stay with us. Tonight's top stories follow the break. Also, how a villain of the sea could be a saviour for diabetics. William and Kate give our first responders the royal seal of approval.
Tonight, on a special edition of The Project, we bring you the latest from America as the country burns through its 7th night of civil unrest.
And as the US riots over the death of George Floyd, we shine a light on our own sad history of deaths in custody.
Plus, a look back at the powerful speeches that have defined the struggle for equality for all Australians.
All that and more coming up tonight at 6:30 on The Project. We'll see you then.
It's the strangest dessert ever seen in the MasterChef kitchen.
The main ingredient is actually...
What's inside will blow your mind.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The strangest ever dessert challenge, tonight on 10.
Bunnings has a great range of home security products.
Video doorbell, only $329. Security camera, just $69.
Where you find a competitor's lower price on the same stocked item will beat it by 10%. Shop at Bunnings wherever you are, whenever you want.
With health insurance from Australian Unity, you're in good hands. Get 6 weeks free and pick cover that suits you. Join hospital and extras by June 30. Search Australian Unity today.
Hey, Tina, can you please slice the lettuce, tomato and onions, toast the buns, grab the sauce and mayo and bring the meat.
Take a break from cooking and get Hungry Jack's Flame Grill Whoppers delivered now on Uber Eats or Menu Lock. Hungry Jack's Delivery. The burgers are better.
Well, for Benson now, for classic catches gold. Catch it! Yes! Well held, son! Get him into the cordon!
I've seen a car go off a cliff with more grace than that, but geez, the big man has great hands.
That Make It Look Easy moment was brought to you by Sportsbet's NRL Same Game Multi. Combine your favourite markets, like South to win, into both Latrell and Tedesco to score, and you'll get bigger odds. Same Game Multi from Sportsbet.
It's business as usual at Palm Lake Resort, Caloundra Key, where you can still realise your dream of living in this luxurious over-50s lifestyle community. Enjoy the Caribbean-inspired resort's world-class leisure facilities and opulent country club. There are designer homes ready for you to move into today. Caloundra Key is selling fast. Video call the sales centre or take a virtual tour online at palmlakeresort.com.au. This is your time.
Create your forever home with the Winning Appliances end of financial year sale. Receive a bonus Siemens integrated dishwasher when you spend $5,999 or more on selected Siemens kitchen packages. Visit your local Winning Appliances showroom today. Conditions apply.
Introducing Jumpstart by Light and Easy, the simple program that will help fast-track your weight loss success and improve your health.
Within those first couple of weeks, I noticed a difference within myself.
I found results straight away, and for me, Light and Easy has been life-changing.
Jumpstart combines the proven weight loss results of intermittent eating with Light and Easy's delicious, nutritious meal plans. Whether your goal is to jumpstart your weight loss or to simply eat well and improve your health, visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
Most Australians use their home internet very differently these days, so the quality of your Wi-Fi signal is more important than ever. Wi-Fi gets weaker when it travels from room to room. Walls, furniture, and even TVs can affect the signal strength. For the best possible signal, try moving your Wi-Fi modem into the open. For more home internet help, visit nbn.com.au/optimise.
At UE, we're all about how you use or don't use your car. So we're giving our clients and new clients temporary relief on their car insurance premiums if they're using their cars less right now. Go to UE.com.au. UE, you insured.
If you're married to someone like this, There's only one thing to do.
It's got to be this one.
Print it.
How to Stay Married, tonight.
Hello again as we wrap things up tonight. The Riverside Expressway and the Captain Cook Bridge not doing too badly at the moment, heading out of the city. Heading up through Albany Creek, Old Northern Road a short time ago, not doing too badly. Back on South Pine Road around Stafford Road. It's a fairly good run through Everton Park. A little bit busy still though, a little further south coming out of Enoggera. The run up the Bruce Highway over the Pine River Bridge now is looking fairly good, and heading up through North Lakes and Burpengary. A little bit stop-start, but certainly not too bad. I'm Dave Andrews. Thanks to Aussie Home Loans. Have a great night tonight, and I'll check the roads again for you tomorrow.
Tonight's top stories: Donald Trump's call to arms. The president threatens the might of the military against his own citizens as Washington becomes the epicentre of America's riot rage. The flaws of child safety in Queensland laid bare, the coroner releasing a damning report that shows the department failed Mason Jet Li in nearly every way possible. And the government apologises to Nathan Turner's family after it was found the Blackwater miner did not have coronavirus when he died last week. Scientists have made an extraordinary and bizarre breakthrough that means a marine menace could help save people with diabetes. They're studying the venom a sea snail uses to paralyse its prey to create a new type of life-saving insulin.
The humble comb snail casually slides across the ocean bed until it sees a fish.
When it strikes, the snail's pace jumps to light speed.
It injects the fish with paralysing insulin venom that works instantly.
This struck us that perhaps there are unique properties to this insulin that enable it to work very quickly and to stop the fish from swimming by.
And this is where marine biology meets medicine.
It's to take the principles of the venom insulin and to make a human look-alike, so to speak.
In other words, modelling the poison that kills the fish to make insulin that saves humans. Alex was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at 10. He spent much of his teens in hospital because he mistimed his insulin injections.
I've been to the stage where I'm like, just knock me out. I don't want to. I feel really sick, I feel unwell.
A faster acting insulin may prevent those trips to emergency.
Almost 500 million people around the world have diabetes. The snail venom theory still needs to be put through clinical trials, which means it is, at best, years away from hitting the market.
Alex may be among the first to administer it. He's currently studying nursing.
My main goal is to hopefully become a diabetic educator.
Natasha Exelby for 10 News First.
They spend their lives protecting ours, so it seems only fitting Australia's first responders were given a dedicated day for us all to say thanks. Today was the first, and there was praise coming all the way from the palace.
We've been living through challenges beyond our memory. The summer bushfires morphing into our season of plague. Today, our first responders were encouraged to take a moment for themselves and to hear from some powerful admirers.
Time and time again, when Australia has needed protecting, you have answered that call.
For Australia's first ever Thank a First Responder Day, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge were gushing in their praise.
Today, on Australia's inaugural Thank a First Responder Day, you all deserve our huge thanks.
You should be immensely proud of everything you do, and we send our very best wishes to you all.
So many Australians have been really, supportive of emergency services over the last 6 months, which has been really fantastic. But it's just great to see some recognition from, from the royal family and from people overseas. It's quite heartening.
I think it's really nice to see the royal family coming on and having a chat to the first responders and showing their support. Really like it.
For Stuart Krelsham, it all brings back memories of fighting to save the border town of Malakuta as huge firestorms bore down.
There's something really weird about having the ocean at your back and nowhere to go. It's about that staying calm and staying composed and really just going back to your training.
While many of us see these first responders as the best of us, today reminds us it's okay to stop and say thanks. Not that they say they're looking for it.
We just love helping people. It's the best job in the world.
Hugh Riminton for 10 News First.
Yeah, they certainly deserve our thanks,
Absolutely,
don't they?
they do.
Well, it is sport time. Jono, a big out for the Cowboys.
A very sizeable out, Georgie. Thank you. Hell of a run coming up. North Queensland lose their forward leader as Val Holmes prepares to face his old club. That's next. Also, will the new Wallabies coach fall in line with Rugby Australia's staff and take a pay cut? Plus, is out of quarantine and onto the track. The huge sacrifice the Godolphin stables made for the Stradbroke Handicap.
Your home means more than ever, and so does having the right home loan. To understand your options, go straight to Aussie. We'll help ensure you have the right loan for right now.
Are we closer in closing the gap faced by Indigenous Australians?
If you're married to someone like this, there's only one thing to do.
Emily Butler, author of soon-to-be bestseller, My Husband.
Wow, that's definitely Greg.
It's got to be this one.
You're right. Print it.
How to Stay Married, tonight.
There you go, Swagger.
Steve? Domino's is bringing New York to your living room with the new tastier New Yorker range, now with even more authentic ingredients, like huge pepperoni on a giant-sized New York pizza. Try one from just $19.95 delivered from Domino's.
The Land Rover main event, when we assemble unmissable offers, like savings that leave the GST behind, and a 5-year warranty. All yours on Range Rover Evoque. On now.
Has your life been turned upside down by a road accident? Talk to Australia's #1 law firm. Morris Blackburn Lawyers will maximise your claim so you can get on with your life again. Call us now. It costs nothing to know where you stand.
With Allianz Comprehensive Car Insurance, we guarantee all the repairs we authorise.
Hey, good to go.
Looks great. Thanks.
Get that Allianz feeling. Call or search for a quote today.
Build a better Hamptons home for less with Clarendon Homes. Enjoy a 5-bedroom and 5-living zone Hampton-style home from just $249,800 with Aspire inclusions. Hurry, limited time only.
The world could do with some good, but why throw eggs when you can scramble them? With a hot pan and a little Lurpak, a cook can tame the wild, feed the hungry, and nourish the weak. So choose your weapon, embrace the unwanted, and transform nothing into everything. The world needs more cooks, because where there are cooks, there is hope. Yum.
This is for the tens of thousands of Queenslanders that keep racing going. Because just like you, we love it. And happily give back 4 times more than any of our competitors to keep them running. That money supports track workers, apprentices, caterers and more here in the Sunshine State. That's worth backing. TAB. Long may we play.
Head to Macca's if a little treat is what you need and grab 24 Chicken McNuggets for just $9.95 or a large sundae for only $3. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
The main ingredient is actually... What?
It's the strangest dessert ever seen in the MasterChef kitchen.
Good evening. There's a huge out for the Cowboys as they look to work their way into the top 4 against Cronulla. The game's most destructive forward, Jason Taumalolo, won't play after picking up a knee injury, and coach Paul Green can't confirm when he'll return.
He carried the complaint through half of his 290-metre monster effort against the Titans, but the bone bruising has caught up with Jason Taumalolo.
He said we'll monitor it. Sometimes bone bruising can take a
You don't know how long they're going to take to actually get better, but, fingers crossed it'll only be a week.
Josh Maguire replaces him at lock as Valentine Holmes prepares to face his former club, Cronulla, for the first time since his return from the NFL.
He's a special talent and you've got to be on your game because you can tear apart a game at any moment. So he's got that natural instinct in him.
I think he'd probably like to play well against his old club, but I don't think he's sort of thinking too much about that.
At Red Hill, the Broncos stocks continue to run low. Jake Turpin was a no-show at training, with Corey Pakes in line to make his NRL debut at hooker against the Roosters, while Tessie Newey will play his first NRL match off the bench.
I know the guys have got great trust and great belief in him. Do we expect him to come on and shoot the lights out and be the best player on the field? No, we just want him to go out there and do his job for the team.
Pat Carrigan and Brodie Croft returned to the co-captaincy in Alex Glenn's absence. Seibold seemingly resigned to a tough night at the office against the two-time defending premiers.
It's a really big challenge for us. There's no doubt about that. But, we're really excited. I would very much doubt that anyone's got us as favourites to win this one.
Justin Holbrook's made a raft of changes as he searches for his first win in charge. Former Origin players Nathan Peets and Jared Wallace among 4 players bumped out of the Titans' 17. Veronica Eggleton for 10 News First.
A day after axing almost 80 staff, Rugby Australia says there's no plans to reduce the $1 million a year salary of new Wallabies coach Dave Rennie. 40% of full-time and part-time staff have been sacked, players have taken a 60% pay cut and executives a 30%. But Rennie's 7-figure package remains intact.
Look, we need to try and protect as much of our high-performance area as possible. That's going to help to get the Wallabies back to where they need to get to as a world ranking. And so Dave Rennie is a key part of that, and I'm delighted with how Dave's been engaging on that task since signing up, and I think he's going to make a very big positive difference.
Clark confirmed the National Rugby Championship has been scrapped this year, but is planning for 4 Bledisloe Cup matches between Australia and New Zealand, with 2 tests in each country. The Godolphin team will enter 4 horses in Saturday's Stradbroke Handicap, including last year's winner Trekking. But just getting to Brisbane has been a huge sacrifice, with key members of the stable undergoing 30 days worth of quarantine in the lead-up.
Never has a stable been so grateful for a 5 a.m. start. And it's understandable when you've spent the last 15 days locked away from what you do best.
It's just something that we've had to do and abide by the racing rules and the government rules. So, no, it's been trying, but yeah, we got through it well.
I didn't lose a bit of fitness. I was walking and running for a bit, but riding horses is completely different, and I can feel it now already.
Laughs aside, this is a team that clearly means business. Having also gone through the same length quarantine in Adelaide with Trekking just over 2 weeks ago in the lead-up to the Goodwood Stakes.
It's in front, Geitra and Trekking. Trekking got up to win final stride and took the Goodwood.
That was, exceptional win, and to do that and come up here, and he's in good order. He's arrived in good order. The team have sent him up in a great position.
The 5-year-old gelding isn't the only runner the Blue Army's racing to get ready for Saturday's Stradbroke Handicap. Exhilarates, Kementari and Ranier will also feature.
I wouldn't be surprised if any of those 4 could be a sneaky chance to get into the Everest as well.
Despite taking out last year's race, Trekking is only considered second favourite for this year's running, behind the Gay Waterhouse-trained Dawn Passage. And there's one simple reason for that.
With a 58 kilo on his back, that might be a little bit harder than 12 months ago.
Regardless of the result, the team will head to Sydney next, and you know what that means.
Yes, I would have to quarantine again. I just have to stay at home again and work on my fitness.
Josh McLean for 10 News First.
NFL teams needing a wide receiver look no further. We found you a deep threat. This Dolphin thrives in wet conditions and, better yet, doesn't need a perfect spiral pass to make the catch. We're sure a salary of seafood would suffice, and imagine the marketing if this mammal went to the Miami Dolphins. Regardless, this fantastic diving grab gets our play of the day. A few puns in there, Georgie, but
Plenty of plums, John. Thank you. A freezing morning on the way. Josh has all the details next.
Are we closer in closing the gap faced by Indigenous Australians?
It's the strangest dessert ever seen in the MasterChef kitchen.
The main ingredient is actually...
What's inside will blow your mind.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
The strangest ever dessert challenge, tonight on 10.
Introducing BP Rewards. Earn BP points to spend in store.
BP Rewards.
Or get dollars off fuel.
BP Rewards.
Or choose to earn Qantas points.
Totally BP Rewards.
Start earning today. Your rewards, your way.
We miss you. Come for dinner. Oh, no. We're getting Hungry Jack's delivered.
Feed the family. Get Hungry Jack's Flame Grilled Whoppers delivered now on Uber Eats or Menu Log. Hungry Jack's Delivery. The burgers are better.
Chloe and Zoe are twins and Amy customers, so you have the same taste.
We both like our crafted cushions and finished faux fur. We love our HD, LED, LCD, 4K pixel TVs.
Do you choose to save now or later on your insurance?
Later.
Buy a home or car insurance policy and Amy Flexi Premiums lets you vary your excess to save now or later. Choose a higher excess to save now or choose a lower excess to save at claim time.
You're with Amy.
Great Wall end of financial year value is now on. Get a brand new petrol dual cab or diesel single cab with a free tray and a 5-year warranty from only $19,990. That's right, from just $19,990 drive away. Great Wall, it's built to work.
Thanks for calling ING. This is Adam speaking. How can I help you? No, I'm currently working from home.
Oh, you can call anytime, so...
Sorry. And she's currently nibbling at my toe right now.
Yeah, working from home was a bit tricky at first, but...
There's definitely been some stray farts, hasn't there, mate?
And now your loan's on a fixed rate. Can I help you with anything else?
No, you made my day.
Well, whatever 2020 throws at you, we're here for a chat anytime.
Too easy.
Needs a friend, one that's true to the end. When you need me, I'll come through.
For the sake of those around you, eat a bit more Aussie fruit, veg and nuts. It's the good mood food.
Can't wait to get back to the footy. Oh, so good. Oh, there's been a spill. He picks up the crumbs, goes left, goes right. He's done it back in the bathroom.
Hot food, just $3 at 7-Eleven.
Cleansing your sensitive skin with soap is not enough. Try Garnier Micellar Water. Its micelles attract makeup and dirt like a magnet. Remove makeup better than soap. Cleanse and soothe. For powerful cleansing, use Micellar Water by Garnier, naturally.
The joy of pregnancy stripped away. Imagine feeling allergic to your own baby. A nightmare illness with terrifying risks. What you need to know. Plus, he sold 30 million albums.
I'm trying very hard.
But behind the hits, Josh Groban is waging a private battle. Tomorrow on Studio 10.
It is weather time, and Josh, it's going to be very hard to get out of bed tomorrow.
Well, Georgia, it's always hard at the best of times, but a little bit harder when those temperatures certainly take a dive, like they will on first thing on Wednesday morning. Let's have a look at the Ridges weather cam firstly before we get to those temperatures. Today we hit a top of 21. Not too bad out there after an overnight low of 15 degrees, but those west-southwesterly winds certainly made it feel a little bit cooler than that. Right now we're sitting on 17 in the city. Humidity, check it out, very dry indeed, only at 28%, and the winds from the west-southwest again at 17 kilometres per hour. Diving into the satellite picture in and across parts of Australia, as you can see, clear skies for most of Queensland for Tuesday. A little bit further south, we've got a low pressure system situated off the New South Wales coast, sending in some heavy rainfall across areas of Sydney today. Bit of cloud also lingering over areas of New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia. And to the left, we've got plenty of high cloud coming in over the northwest of WA. But moving into the big picture tomorrow, here's our area of high pressure starting to muscle on in in over central and southern Australia. This will really dominate the weather as we get across the next couple of days. And as a result, we're going to get clear skies and light winds. So that will allow those temperatures to drop first thing in the morning. When you've got the light winds and the clear skies, all the heating from the day before begins to escape through the atmosphere at night. And as a result, the cold, dense air sinks to the surface, allowing those temperatures to get very chilly indeed. Off the coast of New South Wales, that low pressure system will move off towards New Zealand. And as mentioned, the onshore winds still a feature through areas of Queensland. And as a result, we could see the slight chance of a shower along the northeast coast tomorrow. But apart from that, it will be dry for most areas of Queensland on Wednesday. We do have morning frost, though, possible through areas of the southern and central inland. Could even get some frost areas again over the Darling Downs and Granite Belt. Moving interstate and Sydney tomorrow, we're looking at top temperatures through the afternoon of 18 degrees. Looking a little bit windy as well. Foggy start in Canberra, getting out to 2 overnight, 13 through the afternoon. Melbourne, 14 degrees with a chance of a shower tomorrow. 11 degrees for Adelaide, seeing much the same. Should be a partly cloudy day for Adelaide, hitting 16 degrees. 23 the top for Perth and 32 degrees for Darwin. Back home and the northeast coast, as mentioned, slight chance of a shower in some areas, but generally fine for Cairns and Townsville for Wednesday. Longreach going for 22. And Roma, well, check it out, down to 1 overnight, 17 through the afternoon. Clear skies and sunshine stretching through Rocky, Bundaberg, Maryborough and also Gympie. Top temperatures in the mid to low 20s. For the southeast, it will be a fine and sunny day. Overnight temperatures falling to between 3 and 8 degrees, with daytime temperatures reaching between 18 and 22. We're going for 21 on the Gold Coast, 21 on the Sunshine Coast, hitting the same mark at Logan. A little bit cooler further west. Toowoomba getting out of 4 degrees first thing, 15 through the afternoon, and we're looking at 21 degrees for Caboolture. Out on the bay, we're looking at west-south-westerly winds at 15 to 20 knots. The good news is, if you are thinking about heading out onto the bay, those winds will begin to die down through the late morning, early afternoon, and the sea's hovering around about 1.5 metres in the northern bay, but they will also come back towards around about the metre mark through the afternoon. Sea surface temperatures still sitting at around about that 23 degree mark, although I must say it's quite cool when you get out of the water due to those westerly winds. Sunshine and tops of 21 for the city tomorrow. We're looking at overnight low of 9 degrees, and as we get across the next couple of mornings, it's going to be cool. 11 degrees Thursday morning, 22 through the afternoon, hitting the same mark on Friday. As you will notice, we're seeing clear skies over the next few days, just partly cloudy, and warming up slightly on Sunday up to 24 degrees. But the cold temperatures are certainly here to stay. Ipswich tomorrow morning, a chilly one, down to 4 degrees. Could even get some early frost patches. 6 degrees on Thursday morning, 22 through the afternoon. And we'll look at mostly sunny skies for Friday, Saturday and also Sunday. But those cool temperatures in the morning are certainly here to stay. Stay with us. We'll have the extended forecast for the Golden Sunshine Coast coming up shortly.
A call to arms from America's capital. Donald Trump unleashes a military threat on his own citizens as his country burns around him. Tonight, we have the latest from Washington. A little life stolen through fatal flaws. A coroner lays bare the shortcomings of the Child Safety Department that was supposed to protect Mason Jet Li. And the result was wrong, but the response was right. The government says sorry over the false positive that sent fear into the town of Blackwater. Blood, sweat and tear gas. Tonight, America is in a united state of despair. For a 7th straight night, Donald Trump's country has burned around him, and today he responded with the threat of the nation's military might.
A violent clear-out of what had been, at least today, a peaceful rally. This is what was happening just outside the White House gates, as inside the president addressed the nation, declaring himself
an ally of all peaceful protesters.
But warning.
We are ending the riots and lawlessness that has spread throughout our country. We will end it now.
Stun grenades, tear gas. And still 20 minutes until curfew. Even an Australian TV crew wasn't spared.
That's a photographer.
And why? So Mr. Trump could walk outside and across the road to what's known as the Church to the Presidents, recently torched for a bizarre photo op. as sirens blared in the background.
Is that your Bible?
The local bishop called it an outrage, adding Mr. Trump didn't even stop to pray.
I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers, military personnel, and law enforcement officers.
He called the looting and violence a total disgrace and declared if state governors don't use the National Guard to stop it,
then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
The might of the US military being turned on its own people.
No justice! No.
Across the country, protests raged for a seventh day. There was more looting in New York, arrests outside the famous Radio City Music Hall. And at one point, a policeman there pointed his gun at the crowd. In Minneapolis, George Floyd's brother, for the first time, grieved at the place where he died in police custody. He called for the violent riots to end.
If I'm not over here messing up my community, come on. Then what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all doing nothing. Because that's not going to bring my brother back at all.
The official post-mortem has declared Floyd's death a homicide. He suffered a cardiac arrest while being restrained. But there are some encouraging signs of unity. The NYPD taking a knee in support of demonstrators.
That's what we want.
Elsewhere, police marched with them.
We're here with y'all.
And here in the deep south, Louisiana, an officer comforts a teenage protester, telling him, "We're all here together." Daniel Sutton for 10 News First.
Let's return now to Eamon in Washington, D.C. Eamon, it's been an extraordinary night.
It sure has, Georgie, and with all the rioting and looting that's been going across America, Donald Trump's critics say there have been a few lines that have been crossed today, and most importantly among them is Donald Trump's threat to use the military against groups of his own citizens. And we've already seen the signs of that beginning today in DC. There have been Black Hawk helicopters flying low over protesters as a show of force. So low, in fact, they've been clipping trees and smashing windows with the reverberations. And we also saw Donald Trump walk out of the White House here today, and to clear the way, he had peaceful protesters gassed. Also, he could have a photo opportunity outside this church. And Georgie, this is the sobering reality of America today.
There have been incredible scenes. Thank you, Eamon, in Washington, D.C. We have breaking news now out of Sydney, and these pictures are just into the newsroom. A Black Lives Matter protest is underway in the city. The demonstration is in solidarity with those in the United States, with numbers growing as we go to air. A failure in nearly every possible way. That's how a coroner has described child safety's handling of Mason Jetley. 21 employees worked on his case. All failed miserably to save the little boy who endured a painful life and brutal death.
It is hard to fathom how badly Mason Jetley was failed. The 1-year-old suffered shocking neglect at the hands of William O'Sullivan and Anne-Marie Lee. His little body had 46 bruises, severe abdominal hemorrhages, fractures and other injuries that are too graphic to report. He died 5 agonising days after being punched in the stomach in June 2016. In a scathing set of findings, the coroner revealed Mason's sustained mistreatment was overlooked by child safety. 21 employees were involved in his case. Between March 15 and June 11, he should have been seen 12 times. He was visited just once for 5 minutes. At that visit, 2 child safety officers noticed he was walking awkwardly but didn't check his injuries. On the day before his death, a neighbour told the department that O'Sullivan was holding Mason hostage, but a child safety officer did nothing to check on Mason's safety and instead went home. That officer had no idea of her basic role and did not even know of the existence of Mason, telling her superiors, "I'm not sure whether he was Mason or whether the child was Nathan." The coroner found, had anyone from the department seen Mason in the weeks before his death, they could have saved his life.
The buck stops with this Premier, and it is about time she did something to protect the children in her care.
12 staff members were subject to Ethical Standards Unit review. 9 of those people were reprimanded and 3 left of their own accord.
The coroner recommended that Child Safety review its policies and procedures to ensure that adoption of vulnerable children is routinely and genuinely considered, to give other kids in Mason's position a chance at a better life. John Paul Gonzo for 10 News First.
Queensland's Premier and her deputy have apologised to Nathan Turner's family after tests wrongly found the minor had COVID-19 when he died. But as Claire Barnes reports, they're standing by their response, which sent the small mining town into lockdown.
The government has been forced to defend its response to Nathan Turner's death, insisting it wouldn't have done anything differently. The 30-year-old died last week and later tested positive for COVID-19 after showing flu-like symptoms for several weeks. A second test came back invalid, and overnight the coroner ruled Mr Turner did not have the virus.
I would like to personally apologise to his partner and his family for any distress that our actions in responding rapidly have caused them.
If we don't act and it ends up being worse, then we would be negligent for not acting.
More than 600 residents were tested. Close contacts ordered into quarantine, including Mr Turner's partner Simone. The owners of the bakery where she worked say they just want the community to return to normal.
For us to have that relief and to breathe easy, for Simone to be able to finally have the support she needs.
The false positive had fuelled speculation Mr Turner's death was linked to a Rockhampton nurse at an aged care centre. She's now also demanding an apology.
Tourism operators across the state have held a drive-through protest pleading for our borders to be reopened. But their calls have again fallen on deaf ears, with Anastasia Palaszczuk defiant in the face of increasing criticism.
Tooting for tourism. A procession of around 50 cars cruised the Surfers Paradise foreshore, honking their horns to make themselves heard.
Today was just simply a manifestation of the pain that businesses right across the coast, but specifically here in Surfers Paradise, are going through.
These fed-up tourism operators want the Premier to set a date to reopen the border before they go belly up.
It's about giving us a date so we know when we can work to, but most of all our customers can actually work out when they're actually travelling.
I think it's crucial that she makes that decision earlier rather than later.
Richard Cunningham staged his own one-man protest, calling for more state funding for businesses.
It's a direct message to the Premier. I mean, look, taking a knee, I think you can all interpret that for what it is.
Similar protests unfolded in North Queensland, where the loss of domestic visitors is wreaking havoc.
Roughly 5% of our revenue comes from Queenslanders. The rest of the 30% comes from interstate.
Now operators fear losing out to our trans-Tasman neighbours.
People from New South Wales and Victoria could be holidaying in New Zealand before they're allowed back in Queensland, and that's something that we can't. It would be absolutely catastrophic for tourism in Queensland.
Developers and real estate agents have joined the growing calls to reopen the border, saying every day it's closed, the longer the economic recovery will take.
Now we look like we're behind the 8 ball, we're not welcoming, we're not getting with the mood of the country, and it's really starting to do some damage.
The Premier stands unmoved though, with no plans to reopen anytime soon. Matthew Howard for 10 News First.
Coming up, why consumer confidence is riding a financial high. Also, why servos put the brakes on the Premier's grand plan to get us on the road. Plus, bringing sea life back to life. Why the aquarium residents are so excited. And in sport, are the Broncos set to blood another rookie on Thursday night against the Roosters.
Civil unrest, a mishandled pandemic and economic collapse. Can Trump survive as president? More tonight on The Project.
You know you'll make a great mom one day.
Wise men say.
You know, I had the weirdest cravings when I was pregnant with you. Pickles and ice cream.
Oh, if I
You wash loads, but do you ever wash your washing machine? Every load leaves behind grime and, what's that smell? Pino Clean Washing Machine Cleaner removes 99.9% of germs, leaving it clean and fresh for longer. It's not clean unless it's Pino Clean.
Right now, businesses are doing whatever they can to take care of their business and their staff, and that's why many are choosing to expand online. But taking your business online can be tricky, and that's where CommBank e-commerce solutions come in.
CommBank helped me sell my products online securely, so people can enjoy my restaurants in their living rooms.
We're here to help businesses get up and running online so they can stay up and running.
And we can, together.
Hello, doctor.
How can I help?
Oh, my skin gets dry.
Try a bit of QV. It's perfect for your skin now.
Originally developed for the Queen Victoria Hospital, QV is dermatologically tested and scientifically formulated with body washes designed to help hydrate your skin while you cleanse. No wonder it's been trusted for generations to care for even the most sensitive skin. Find family-friendly QV at Chemist Warehouse for a great price.
Life's changed for all of us, but Bupa's here to help. Because isolation shouldn't mean you're on your own. Because you can't get out, we'll help you at home. Because our health has never been so important. And because by staying apart, we'll get through this together. Bupa, because life happens.
Hot Milo. None of that crunchy stuff on top, thank you. Just smooth and hot, the way us hot Milo drinkers like it. What side are you on?
We're shaking things up, Queensland. With Containers for Change, you get 10 cents for every eligible drink container at your local container refund point. To find out where to cash in, visit containersforchange.com.au.
Over the years, we have had some pretty amazing desserts. None of them have been quite as unusual as the dessert that you're about to taste.
The MasterChef kitchen has never seen a dessert quite like this.
The main ingredient is actually...
What's inside?
What?
Will blow your mind.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Pretty amazing, huh?
The strangest ever dessert challenge, tonight on 10.
Hello there. Coronavirus restrictions have delivered a massive boom in online shopping and perhaps a source for the COVID kilos. Figures for April show takeaway food purchases were up nearly 200% compared to last year and up 26% on March. Overall, online sales recorded their highest ever monthly growth rate. The annual increase also broke records for the NAB series. And consumers are continuing to feel better about the economy and their personal finances. Confidence is up 6% this week. It's the 9th straight week of gains, and that's unprecedented. And we'll find out tomorrow how the economy is actually going when the first quarter GDP figures are released. A range of economists updated their forecast today on the back of fresh Bureau of Statistics data. Now, there's been a slight improvement, but they're still predicting the economy will shrink by between 0.1 and 0.4%. Now, this afternoon, the Reserve Bank Governor revealed it's possible the COVID-19 downturn may not be as bad as first feared. The RBA also kept interest rates on hold at 0.25%. So the share market rallied, closing up almost 16 points. Woolworths staff, the ones getting shares and store credit, as a thank you from the company for their hard work during the pandemic. The dollar is hovering around 68 US cents after hitting 4-month highs earlier today. And that's finance.
Get to the petrol bowser and fill up. That's the message for motorists as prices begin to climb. While it seems suspicious that the surge comes just as driving restrictions are lifted, Chris Campy explains it's just an unfortunate coincidence.
Well, get out there, load the car, take a road trip and see Queensland. That was the advice from the Queensland Premier yesterday as pandemic restrictions ease. She wanted to see Queenslanders planning their road trips and utilising parts of the state that they may not have travelled to before, spending some money on local accommodation providers. But wouldn't you know it, just as those times arrive, petrol experts say that we're going to see a jump in the low prices that we've been enjoying. Now, for the last 3 months, we've seen prices as much as almost 30 cents a litre cheaper than we did in the months leading up to March. That's been a combination of demand and low global oil prices. But with those things tipped to rise, we are being warned that these prices will jump, that the $1 or so a litre prices we've been seeing will not last, and that it's time to get in now to fill those tanks.
It is just a coincidence, but a slap in the face to motorists nonetheless. It's not gouging this time around, but we'll be keeping a close eye on the service stations out there right around the state.
The Premier agreed that this was unfortunate and that the timing is somewhat suspicious. Still, there are cheap prices across the southeast. The Gold Coast is yet to jump south of the city. Cheap prices around that $1 a litre can be found. The advice is get it while you still can.
There's plenty of excitement building as Sea Life Aquarium gets set to reopen. The penguins have had plenty of time on their hands of late, but now appears super keen for some outside company. The centre was given the go-ahead to welcome back visitors following the early easing of restrictions. Well, Jono's back now with another look at sport.
Thank you, Georgie. Hello again. The Broncos' depth will again be tested after hooker Jake Turpin failed to train today. Corey Pakes is in line to debut in his place, joining Tessie Nui in his first NRL match. It's set to be a baptism of fire for the youngsters against the reigning premiers, the Roosters.
But it's a really big challenge for us, there's no doubt about that. But, you know, we're really excited. I mean, in many respects, you know, I would very much doubt that anyone's got us as favourites.
Pat Carrigan and Brodie Croft return as co-captains in Alex Glenn's absence. The Cowboys will be without Jason Taumalolo against the Sharks. The game's best forward ruled out with a knee injury. It comes as the under-siege Sharks brace for their first meeting with Valentine Holmes since his NRL return.
A drug scandal on the eve of a restart wasn't the shark alert to kickstart Cronulla into gear.
As a club, we were surprised by it. But in saying that, I thought our preparation was good.
The winless Sharks take on the Cowboys featuring Valentine Holmes for the first time since the superstar walked out on the Sutherland Shire club to follow his NFL dream.
It's definitely going to be a player that we're going to have to limit the amount of times he can have an impact.
The Cowboys will be minus wrecking ball Jason Taumalolo, Cronulla without Andrew Fafita and Chad Townsend. The unbeaten Eels and Manly clash at Bankwest Stadium on Saturday. Parramatta restarting in style after dismantling the Broncos, but this will be the litmus test.
It's a great challenge for us this week to see where we're at, I guess. They'll give the comp a real shake, and I think they're a big chance at winning the comp. You got DC at 7 and you got Tommy at the back.
Tommy's got a double. It's like it goes back to the junior days, under 8s, where you'd give the ball to the best player. That's sort of the case there with Turbo.
The rivalry goes way back, inspiring a popular 80s TV beer commercial.
I feel like I'm doing, I feel like I'm doing.
Whatever the result, no alcohol will pass the lips of Joel Thompson at full time. The forward now 8 months off the drink.
It's honestly the best decision that I've made. I've been an absolute clown drinking. I don't have 10, I go for 20 and 30 drinks.
Michael Caine for 10 News First.
The James Cummings train Trekking hopes to become the first horse in a decade to win back-to-back Stradbroke handicaps on Saturday. The 5-year-old will have to do it the hard way, carrying 58 kilos, and that's not all. Key members of the team forced to spend 30 days quarantined from the track in the lead-up.
Oh, it'd be a great meeting for the team, you know, back at home. You know, they put a lot of effort into these horses that come up here and, you know, it's been a big team effort by everyone.
Late today, the market was blown open. The Gay Waterhouse train Dawn Passage drew barrier at 23, while Trekking will jump from 22. Huge weekend of racing ahead, Georgie.
Sounds like it. Thank you, Jono. Coming up, Josh has the latest on the Big Chill.
supply of groceries thanks to Coles? Then grab tonight's code word and head to the 10play win page to enter, and you could be a winner. Plus, be watching MasterChef 7:30 tonight for the bonus code word to double your chances.
Head to Macca's if a little treat is what you need and grab 24 chicken McNuggets for just $9.95 or a large sundae for only $3. For your Macca's run, contact-free, we'll be here.
When your hair's not weighed down, you can do the day. Introducing new Pantene 0% silicone. Unlike silicone found in ordinary shampoos, new Pantene has nourishing lipids. The difference is clear. New Pantene 0% silicone formula gives you lightweight, smooth hair that lasts through to the next day. Do 0% silicone. Do new Pantene.
Why don't you come? Why don't you come? The pleasure's all mine, never getting old. If you're looking for me, I'll be dancing in my own way.
Save 20% on your second policy when you buy new eligible Suncorp home and car insurance together before July 10. Helping you save when you need it most. That's the Suncorp spirit.
You can count on Maurice Blackburn to be here, because we've been here this year and 100 years before that, helping Australians get their lives back on track. So if you need help, call us today.
Oh dear, it looks like she's not feeling too good. A cup of Lemsip Max Multi-Relief should do the trick. Its multi-action formula helps relieve up to 6 cold and flu symptoms. Lemsip, that's better.
Get up to 50% off everything during Bedshed's Stocktake sale. Mattresses, bedroom suites, kids' furniture and more. All up to 50% off at Bedshed. That's why no one's better in the bedroom.
Introducing Jumpstart by Light and Easy, the simple program that will help fast-track your weight loss success and improve your health.
Within those first couple of weeks, I noticed a difference within myself.
I found results straight away, and for me, Light and Easy has been life-changing.
Jumpstart combines the proven weight loss results of intermittent eating with Light and Easy's delicious, nutritious meal plans. Whether your goal is to jumpstart your weight loss or to simply eat well and improve your health, visit lightandeasy.com.au today.
1, 2, 3, 4. So clap it back. Hey, clap, clap. So clap it back. Hey, I'm gonna give it right back. 'Cause I'm not gonna stand around living like that. So clap it back. Clap it, clap, clap. Alright, so clap it back. Hey, hey.
Centrum provides multiple health benefits in just one tablet. Centrum, complete from A to Zinc.
Up next, angry protests overseas ignite local Black Lives Matter movements as we shine a light on deaths in custody in our own backyard. From calls to reopen the Uluru Climb to the destruction of sacred sites, are we going backwards in our respect for Indigenous culture? And the inspiring speeches that united our country, why we need them now more than ever. The project next.
Time for a final weather check, Josh. Widespread frost tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right, Georgie, especially across the central and southern inland as we get through Wednesday, or due to a cold, dry air mass that's now lingering over areas of Queensland, and then in behind we've got an area of high pressure, so light winds and also clear skies, really allowing those temperatures to drop first thing in the morning. As mentioned, those frost patches certainly a feature. The only chance of some rainfall tomorrow will be on the northeast tropical coast, thanks to onshore winds, but we're not expecting much into the gauges as we get through tomorrow. The frost certainly the main feature as we get through Wednesday. For Cairns, we're looking at top temps at 27 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, beautiful day for Townsville and Atherton. Longreach, 7 degrees overnight, 22 through the afternoon, and a chilly start for Roma, topping out at 17 in the afternoon, with clear skies stretching from Rocky all the way through to Gympie. For the southeast, it will be fine and sunny tomorrow. Overnight temperatures falling to between 3 and 8 degrees, with daytime temperatures reaching between 18 and 22. We're going to hit that mark at Ipswich, 21 the top at at Logan and Caboolture, and we're going for a chilly 15 degrees at Toowoomba. But with those west-southwesters, it may feel a little bit cooler than that. For Brisbane City, we're looking at a top of 21 degrees tomorrow, overnight lows of 9 degrees. So a little bit chilly first thing. It will be the same on Thursday. 22 through the afternoon, 11 first thing in the morning, 22 on Friday, 23 Saturday and 24 degrees on Sunday. It will be dry over the next few days right across areas of southeast Queensland. A real dry air mass situated over the southeast. 22 the top for Ipswich, 4 degrees first thing tomorrow, 6 degrees Thursday and staying cool right through the course of the weekend. For the Gold Coast, we're looking at a fine and sunny day for Wednesday, although just a possible shower Friday, Saturday and a shower or two forecast on Sunday with 23. For the sunny coast, we're looking at a shower or two Friday, Saturday and Sunday, starting to clear up on Monday. So a couple of showers over the weekend, Georgie.
Cool days ahead. Thank you, Josh. That is 10 News First for now. For details on tonight's bulletin, head to 10play.com.au. But stay on 10. The project is next. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good night.
Tonight,